It's beautiful up here. You see the flowers?
It looks beautiful out.
I've got flowers right there.
Yeah.
So I'm in a lovely garden here in an undisclosed location in New England, enjoying a nice meal here, and I'm looking forward to talking more about privacy in Monero. You know, a lot of people have probably heard us talking about Monero, but I don't know if we've actually had a full conversation about Monero and why Monero is probably the best cryptocurrency other than Bitcoin, which we always talk about because it was the first. But
Yeah.
privacy
Bitcoin
matters.
is like the godfather.
How about things down
Bitcoin
there,
is the
Mike?
godfather, but
Before we get into
things are
me,
good,
though,
man.
you doing good?
Yeah, man, everything's good down here. I went out, did some errands, and now I'm just back home right here. I came to the bedroom to get more situated, but everything's nice. Nice out today. I went for a drive,
Yeah,
was by the Hudson. So,
good, good.
yeah, man.
Well, I'm going to apologize for eating in advance for people on the screen, but we're here to share this afternoon with you. Try to get outside, and we hope that you learn a lot about Monero over this conversation. This is the first time that we're really opening up and probably talking about why it matters.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people don't know Monero. Well, first off, people don't know much about cryptocurrencies as it is. It is daunting when you start to learn about it because it's so technical. But as you start to learn and as you start to dabble within Bitcoin and the like, and you start to understand the importance behind crypto, right? That's when Monero pops up a lot. And a lot of people don't know what Monero is. When I talk to people, they're like, "What is Monero?" I was like, "Well, it's a privacy cryptocurrency. It's I'm like, a Swiss bank account. You know how that works. And Swiss bank account actually doesn't go by your name. It gives you a number, and that number is encrypted so that governments can't touch or look at what you got overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to that, right?
Yeah, Monero.
Pretty much.
Monero is the offshore Swiss bank account. That's actually a great analogy, because that is the other nickname for it.
Yes.
It is the cryptocurrency. It is um, the offshore Swiss bank account cryptocurrency. Um, it's for people that might be listening too. It's one of the older cryptocurrencies. Just like Bitcoin, it's decentralized. There's a fixed supply on. Well, there's not a total fixed supply. There's a tail emission that extends out. But it's the best part about it is that it has privacy features built in from a fundamental code level. So, unlike Bitcoin, which is fully transparent, the blockchain, so you can see how much Bitcoin is sent to what wallet addresses openly, publicly on the blockchain. Anyone can search it on a block. There's a website called the Block Explorer for Monero. No one knows what wallets hold how much Monero. No one knows who sends how much to who, and no one knows what wallet addresses hold what. So it's a fully anonymous way to transact online, which is important because one of the actual key definitions of money, of currency, is that it has to be fungible. One token must be the same and no different than the other. Just like one piece of gold, theoretically, and it's true, it's no different than the other than maybe a stamp that goes on it. But this is a form of sound money, and these are the some of the inefficiencies we've seen with Bitcoin is that it's not fully anonymous, and one Bitcoin is non-fungible to the other. They're not the same, because if you could track them, then they're not the same. And this is a problem that we have seen in the space, but Monero is the solution to the privacy. So,
Yeah, I think it's I love the concept of a totally private currency. I myself, I think that I think that when you talk about having money being private and off of the eyes of the government and corporate entities, people look at it as like, oh, well, what, you're doing something illegal?
mhm.
Honestly, I don't care if it is or it isn't illegal. I just don't want people looking at the money. That's nobody's business, all right? And as we start to learn that Facebook, Twitter, and all of these big social media conglomerates, that they come and everything you do, they're mining us, right? It's like we're a mountain of gold,
Hmm.
and they're chipping away every time we're online. They're extracting information and they're grabbing that and selling it off, right? It's like, well, that's what corporations do, and they want to know how much money you have, and they want to know what you do with your money. So, aside from the government, let's not talk about the government right now. Let's talk about privacy here with companies. Do you want really, take away the laziness, people? This is something that really ticks me off when I talk to some people.
What
They're
grinds
like,
your
well, it doesn't.
gears? Grinds your
Yeah, it's
gears.
like oh, it doesn't bother me that Facebook knows what I like to buy because then sometimes they'll show me like ads that probably I do like. It's like, oh, really? There's like you stoop yourself that low that's something so convenient for you. The internet's so complex that you can't just Google something that you might like and find it. You just need them to actually advertise to you. I've never heard of somebody that wants to just be advertised. People, you know why cable started? Cable started as a way to middle America to actually get regular channels. They couldn't get regular channels like in New York City. I grew up in New York City when I was a kid, so we used to have like CBS, ABC,
Hmm.
Fox,
Yep.
WB, UPN. All those channels were free because we're in the city, and so the infrastructure was there. But if you lived in New Hampshire, you needed to get cable, right? But then people in the city and all of that, they would go and purchase freaking cable boxes and pay a subscription because they didn't want advertisements. So that was the whole thing. And then, like, HBO, no advertisements. And
Yeah.
now we want people to bombard us with advertisements because it's easier. Are you freaking crazy? It's like, number one, not only are they using your data to, advertise to you, they're selling you off.
Mm.
It's like, they're selling you off. So I think going forward, you can't trust these corporations with your data, number one. With your money or the information about your money, that's even worse. Okay?
Yeah.
So think like Monero, if you do have crypto and you're able to actually understand it and use it more in a day-to-day basis, right? Because once you do have an understanding to it, you can use it on a day-to-day basis. It's not as convenient, obviously, because of the technology. It's not there as much as we want it to be, right? But you can, and you can protect your identity, what goes on with your money, and I think that's super important. That's why we have VPNs.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a VPN for money.
Yeah, Monero and money is important with privacy. I always ask the average person when they talk about how, the most common answer I get about data privacy is that I have nothing to hide. So since I have nothing to hide, go ahead and look at it. And it's only simply because they don't know the repercussions yet, right? They haven't seen the full extent of what this means yet. But those of us that are in the industry, those of us that know about data, know about monetizing data, and how important it is, um, privacy does matter. But I always ask them, okay, well, would you be comfortable with me looking into your bank account right now? Would you be comfortable with me looking at your photos that you have on your computer right now, or your documents, or your family albums? No, neither would any of us. So privacy, we have an inherent right to privacy. We need to start thinking about the privacy that we care about in the physical world. We don't flash ourselves naked to the public. We like to be in the privacy of our home, no one else there snooping on us. We need to start understanding that there's a version of ourselves online, and we need to protect the online version like we protect ourselves. Financial privacy is very important for the first reason I brought up. No one snooping in on your bank accounts. And in businesses, financial privacy is extremely important. Monero is something that's already being adopted by the high net worth clients of the world. The billionaires that exist out there, the millionaires, these are high net worth individuals that do not want the world knowing how much money they have. And one of the ways that they're able to do this in the crypto world is not through Bitcoin. Believe it or not, they're not actually buying as much Bitcoin. They are, because there are some ways to keep Bitcoin private now. And we talk about the privacy measures on adoption. But with Monero, they are flocking to this digital currency because it is the offshore Swiss bank account. It prevents anyone from looking up their wallet ID, on the Bitcoin blockchain and knowing how much Bitcoin they have. You can't do that with Monero. You are not able to look up on the Monero blockchain how much someone has that another person has. And businesses love this because, you think about it, if you're a large business, the last thing that you would want is a supplier or someone else knowing, or a customer knowing how much money you have in your funds. Maybe they're going to charge you more next time when they come around to actually, you buy stuff from them. So financial privacy is something that I think is extremely undervalued. And in this next bull run that we're going to see in the markets, I really think privacy-focused projects like Monero are definitely going to come to light as being probably single-handedly the most important uh, use case other than Bitcoin, and the most important cryptocurrency other than Bitcoin is going to be Monero for sure.
Yeah, no, and on
What
top
up,
of that,
Tim? We see you out there too. Nice comment. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Interact
yeah,
with us. We're here sharing it with you.
yeah, join the conversation, right? Yeah, and another thing is, the government shouldn't, I don't care. The government should not know how much freaking money we have. They just shouldn't. All right, they already tax us enough, right? The first thing that happens when an employee does their 9 to 5 for 2 weeks, they get paid, right? But who gets paid first? The government, right? Government gets paid first, then you get the rest. So it's, if they already have that, why do they continuously have to know what you do with your money? That's none of their business. And that's the problem we have in this country is that, we have people on the left, they're always like, oh, I don't trust this government because Trump's in office and blah, 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 blah. But then they're, behind, when things like this come about privacy, you know, many, not I'm saying all of them, but many of the mainstream ones, they brush this off. And it's like, you don't brush it off. Don't look at the government as somebody to help you or to, cover, don't give them, don't trust them. The way you say you don't trust Trump, don't trust the government as a whole. And same thing, conservatives on the right, oh, government's too big, blah, 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 blah. And then they go ahead and they're always like propping them up. And it's like, hey, both sides are just propping them up and giving them more power, taking away our privacy, our powers that be as well, right? Look, right now, Julian Assange is in prison out in England. Why? Because he was leaking private information. The government will destroy you for leaking their private information. But if they leak your private information, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry if your information got leaked. Oh, I'm sorry if I went into your information and I'm spying on you and I'm surveilling you and I'm tracking every little thing you do with the world's largest freaking government-owned database system that is in freaking Utah, run by the NSA. That's cool, and we're paying for that too. We're paying for that. So when somebody tells me, like you tell me, Joe's like, yo, Monero's like the best thing to have some, privacy with currency. I'm like, hell freaking yeah. That's what we need more of.
We need.
So, and
You want to avoid what's on this. Don't be the dodo. Don't be the dodo.
that's right.
That's
You'll be
Ripple.
extinct fast.
Don't buy Ripple. I know that you could speculate on Ripple, but don't buy Ripple. That's a shit coin. You see that dodo bird? You know why
Yeah.
that dodo bird's eating that shit coin? Because that dodo bird's going to get extinct from that shit coin. Don't buy that shit coin. Tari
Yeah, a lot of
Project.
these altcoins are just,
Shout out Tari.
yeah.
Shout out Tari Project.
Tari
No, but dude, seriously
Joe.
though, Monero is the second most important cryptocurrency other than Bitcoin. We hype up Monero on the Nonconformist because we think that privacy is super undervalued. Privacy is an inherent right to people, and even though Bitcoin is amazing and it's going to be the most adopted cryptocurrency and countries are going to reserve it, until the privacy issue is solved on Bitcoin, if you're someone that wants to transact privately and you have the right as a human to decide to do that, Monero is the only other private cryptocurrency that you should really be looking at right now. And again, Monero is it's end-to-end encrypted. It has privacy built in from a fundamental layer. You do not know how much one person sends to another. There's no way right now to know who holds how much. So this is looked at as the ultimate Swiss bank account, essentially. So it might be suggested that one looks into Monero. And Monero is just as easy to use as Bitcoin. It's a cryptocurrency just like Bitcoin. Again, the only difference is that it's fully private versus Bitcoin being a little bit more transparent. But you can purchase Monero. If you want to go to learnmonero.com, by the way, we have a few tutorials on here. Feel comfortable with legality, privacy, coins. Oh yeah, dude. Good thing you know about that. That's awesome. So the Perkin Cole LLP will make privacy. Yep. Yeah. So what Tim's referring to is legal
Oh, we got
guidance given
some of the
by.
shout outs.
Yeah,
Some of
yeah,
the shout
yeah,
outs.
yeah. Oh yeah, Mike, you
Cool,
can't
cool,
see
cool.
that. See, we're still learning
Yeah,
this
I didn't see
this
that.
UI.
Yeah, I'm on
So he's talking
YouTube.
about the Perkins LLP. So what he's referring to is the law firm that just put guidance out for the privacy coins. So I believe that's what you're talking about, Tim. Tari just put out this update. Pretty much there was like a paper that was written by this law firm where they did a big analysis into privacy coins on the blockchain. And what they've done is they put together a paper that now gives guidance and recommendations to governments or entities that are looking to learn it and regulate it, and then also businesses that want to adopt privacy-focused uh, blockchains and start building on them, because there's the big thing with these privacy coins over the last couple of years has been this gray zone of regulation and people not getting involved because of the regulation. So one of the most common ones we've seen is the delisting of Monero on cryptocurrency exchanges. So exchanges have been taking Monero off as a trading pair because of they didn't want to get in gray water with the laws in that country where they are operating in. So yeah, so I think that paper is going to be really positive for the industry. I think it's going to be positive for the market in general. I think it's super bullish from Monero adoption because again, we can't deny right now that one of the problems with the Bitcoin blockchain is the transparency issue. There's companies out there that exist, such as Chain Analysis, where their sole job is to de-anonymize wallet addresses and trace transactions. So, not just high net worth clients, businesses. I think the individual is going to start looking to adopt more privacy focused projects like Monero, and that paper is going to
Even
make people feel
businesses,
comfortable with.
right? Even
Yeah, it's
businesses now.
huge.
Think about it. Right? You have the
Nonprofits,
blockchain.
governments.
Yeah, you have a blockchain system that is very focused on complete anonymity, right? So think about it. If you're trying to transact, if you're trying to keep individual, let's say customers, information private, exchanges, you're selling them services and all of that, protecting the customer's identity and all of their private information is always of utmost importance because of liability issues. So if you are a business, doesn't matter, small business, large business, you should probably really look into incorporating or even investing in creating a system that would actually make or help make Monero blockchain system more sophisticated, because and there are a couple companies out there that actually are looking into this because of the sophistication of actually having privacy as the main factor here.
They want,
So it's not just money,
yeah.
and there's a bunch of opportunity, and I think people don't understand the concept of what cryptocurrency is aside from the currency itself. Blockchain system, that's a phenomenon in itself.
Yeah, they want the tools.
Yeah,
At the
people
end of
want the
the
tools.
day,
People need the tools because
yeah.
going forward, we're going to be, it's like a symbiosis. We talked about this previously, right? How we're going to be symbiotically connected with the internet. Right now, Elon Musk is predicting by 2025, his Neuralink will be up and running. First, they'll start testing out betas with people that actually have illnesses and physical ailments.
Mhm.
If you have, you know, parts of your body, it's not operating the way you wish it was and whatever it was, right? But from there, he says that he could see that technology actually allowing for people to actually connect and think and all types of stuff just through that system. So a system like blockchain will actually fit in well. once that actually starts to occur. And we just need to protect our our
Yeah.
our person.
Yeah,
Our person's going to be in the internet. We will be connected completely.
I feel like we
That's gonna
see this.
happen.
I feel like we see this with Tor right now too. You know, Tor is a good example. Tor is brought up often about being used for criminal activity and everything. But
Hey,
it's
what's
still
Tor?
it's
Tell people what's
still
Tor.
yeah. So Tor is an anonymous browser. So anyone can go to Tor's website. It is a
It's so
Tor
Tor's pretty
organization.
much
So you can search the web
it's like Google,
anonymously. Yeah. So
but it's anonymous.
the difference between Google and Tor is that from your computer, when you log on to Google's service, their internet service provider, their browser, you're logging in and you're sending a relay of information to one specific database somewhere. So there's the ability to really watch and snoop on what you're doing online. What Tor does is it decentralizes that server connection, so it routes you through a few different mesh networks. So for the ability for someone to look at you from afar and try to trace back your data, it's bounced off a bunch of different servers. So it's really hard to do that. It obscures the actual view rights to that information. But Tor is something that is used widely by law enforcement agencies, by the FBI, the U.S. government. You know, encryption is very important. Mike, you and I were in the military, and all comms were encrypted. So I mean, that's why I think like it's that's why I do think privacy is the ultimate killer app here. Is because I mean, that's what everyone wants. So I don't necessarily think they're going to shut it down. Maybe they'll shut it down because they think they can shut it down because they think they can stop a decentralized cryptocurrency. But once they learn that they can't shut this thing down, they're going to want to just use it. They're going to want to build on it and
They
adopt it.
can't even shut down TikTok, bro. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
They talk, especially Trump talks and talks about shutting down TikTok, but here it is. It's still up and running.
Yeah.
That's not shut down.
Mm-hmm.
They'll threaten, they'll push all of that, but at the end of the day, they'll have to adopt.
Yeah.
They'll have to adopt. These things are too big to fail.
Yeah.
Blockchain, too big to fail. A privacy type of blockchain system, that'll become too big to fail because it's more valuable than not.
Yeah.
It's more valuable than not. Whenever there's liability, that becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can minimize it, that's more valuable than what they could say is a threat. What the threat? Oh, that apparently drug dealers or whatever could launder money. Oh, if that's really what you think is important, that's what they say to try to slow down its progress and all of that. But that's a minimal fraction of people that actually use that blockchain system.
Yeah, the whole like drug dealer approach is totally discredited with U.S.
They
dollar
said
right
the
at the
same thing
start.
about Bitcoin.
Yeah, well,
Right?
it's
Didn't they used to
yeah.
say, "Oh, Bitcoin is being used by"? Oh, really? So, because right now, all I see, the ones that are really using Bitcoin are people are billionaires, millionaires. We have companies that are actually invested highly into Bitcoin, and the government's now really looking into how to adopt it. We got China actually mining it. The government. You have the government of Russia looking for it as an alternative because they don't trust the dollar and they sold dollars.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, that's all just talk, that's hearsay, that's propaganda. All right. And I think people need to start to understand. I think people are understanding that everything that floats around the media, people still have their biases and all that, but I think they're really starting to grasp the new world that we are actually pushing forward, and that these technologies, either you like it or not, will be implemented. And now, where are you going to be? Are you going to be which side of the coin? Are you going to be the late adopter and the one that doesn't adapt to it on time, or are you going to be the one that's going to actually adapt to it so that you have the upper hand? Because at the end of the day, if you don't adapt to this shit, at the end of the day, you're going to have a dollar cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to learn. And by that time, you might already lose a lot of your regular hard-earned dollars, the value of that.
Yeah.
It happened in India, bro. 3 years ago, I think it was 2017. I think it was 2017. If it wasn't, it was 16 or 18. But I think it was 17. The Prime Minister Modi, he put into play the dissolution of a couple of the large dominational currencies. So there were 2 or 3 dominations, and they Literally, they done away with it, and people went crazy to try to like exchange, and they couldn't do anything. A lot of people lost all of their value.
Mhm.
Some others they got stuck.
It happens real quick.
Nothing.
They-
It happens like this, man. They don't care.
yeah,
They don't. The government does not care, and I
yeah,
think with COVID, everybody doesn't matter what side you're on. Everyone understands that the government doesn't give a damn. All right.
yeah.
So this is where you need to start taking account about what's money and who should own that money. Those dollars that you have, that's in the bank. Something happens to the bank, you're screwed. Sure, the federal government insures up to a certain amount. Is what, $200,000 FDIC, whatever. Okay. Do you really trust the government to actually back that up?
Here's the here's
I
the
don't know.
here's the here's the funny thing, Mike, and this was said by, I believe, Alan Greenspan, who was one of the former heads of the Federal Reserve Bank. We can promise you the amount we'll pay you in the future, but we can't promise you what it's worth. So they can promise you that 200 up to $250,000 in insurance for the FDIC, but they can't promise you what that's worth when they pay that out. And we see this today with pension money. Go ahead and look at your uncle or your grandfather who was World War II generation, right? That pension money doesn't really go a long way today. Why does that happen?
Nope.
Is it because it's got, oh, inflation over time and the dollar is worth less? But what that really means is that your government created more of your currency to steal from your future purchasing power. That is called taxation without representation. Taxation is theft. And you want to know the hilarious thing, dude? Is, I mean, yeah, you're right. Look around. Like, we get taxed on everything. We even get taxed on labor. You get taxed on your work hours you work. Get taxed on your home. So, but these are escapes from this current system. Bitcoin and Monero. Monero, like we talked about today, is the only truly privacy cryptocurrency. I think it's incredibly undervalued, and it's the one that we support here most at the Nonconformist, on top of Bitcoin. And there's a large investment thesis behind this right now, that there will be a time here very soon coming up during the next bull run, and it's already happening now, where the market's going to understand that privacy is undervalued. And there's going to be a flood of investment that's going to come into these privacy-focused coins. Monero is known in the industry as the best privacy coin. It can't even, for example, the IRS right now, I think, has a $650,000 bounty out for anyone that can hack it, because they can't even hack this thing. So we believe that there will be a flood of investment that comes into privacy-focused coins. Monero being priced at $90 right now. It had $500 at the last all-time high. So if you're someone that's motivated by investments, you can understand that we have quite a ways to go before the all-time high. But I believe that $500 floor will be broken once the next wave of money comes into these privacy-focused coins. Because again, the billionaire that's already out there isn't going to want to put their money into Bitcoin necessarily when they come into the market, when there's risk that someone could know how much they have. Nor will a large company maybe want to hold Bitcoin if there's risk to knowing what they have. But what they will want is Monero for its truly privacy features. But there's a couple quick ways for people to buy. Like, they're probably going to ask that right away. You can go to our website, learnmonero.com, and learn how to buy Monero. But one of the ways we teach is through Kraken.com. Kraken just won a banking license here in the United States this past week in Wyoming. So we got a tutorial on our website how to buy there. Real simple. Set up a debit card, pump it out. Changelly's another way. On our website, we talk about Exodus, the Exodus wallet. So you could buy Bitcoin and then download the Exodus wallet, send Bitcoin to that Exodus wallet, and then use their exchange feature in the app, where you could just trade it right there, just like that, trade it,
Just trade.
just like that.
Changes.
Trade Bitcoin for Monero, just like that, in the Exodus app. Um, and Cake Wallet, man, Cake Wallet's kind of cool too. Cake Wallet, we'll put out a video on Cake Wallet, because it takes a little bit to understand the whole smart contract feature. But the cool thing about Cake Wallet is that you could make a Bitcoin transaction with Monero in the background, or you could receive Bitcoin and get Monero in your wallet. So they have this nice little smart contract feature where, and a smart contract means it's like a vending machine. It's like an if and course kind of statement. So if I put $1 in, the soda comes out. So it's automated where it can set up all these cool exchanges and features. But what you can do is I could say, okay, Mike wants to receive Bitcoin. I can open, you want to receive 50, you want to receive 1 Bitcoin from me. I can open up my Cake wallet and I can say to it, here's Mike's Bitcoin address. Send him 1 Bitcoin worth of my Monero in my wallet. Send, and what it'll do is it sends your Monero, but then the smart contract trades it for Bitcoin in the background and then sends the Bitcoin to you. So this is a way where you can still use other currencies and spend, but use Monero in the background to stay private during the entire time, which is kind of a unique feature.
Yep. And then we also have the one for Monero as well, which is the Nano, right?
So the
That's
Ledger,
the other hardware.
Nano
The
Ledger.
Ledger, there you go. Ledger Nano, yeah.
So these are hardware wallets. Hardware wallets are known to be the safest way to secure your cryptocurrency right now, among a few other measures. But we'll give out a tutorial on the Ledger. Nano Ledger, the Ledger X is one. Trezor wallet is another one. Trezor now has Monero featured in the newer ones, so I recommend that. But what these are is it's a device that looks like a USB. It's a little USB almost thumb drive, but they're encrypted.
It's a thumb drive, yeah.
Essentially, yeah, and you plug it into your USB, and then you send your cryptocurrency to that wallet address inside that encrypted device, and then you unplug it from the computer, and you store it away in a very safe spot, like a safety deposit box or a bank, or I'm sorry, not even in the bank. Don't even do it at the bank.
Safe.
A fireproof safe. You got a hole somewhere in your whatever. You just put it somewhere safe, and because it's unplugged from the computer, it's not connected to the internet, so it's considered cold. So it's what they call a cold wallet. And that seems to be the best way to save your cryptocurrency right now. You can look up tutorials. If you want to go and learn this tonight, you could always YouTube a few trusted tutorials. Try to look at a few of them and make sure they all say the same thing. But we'll definitely be putting out some content on that too. It's all complex, Mike, but we try to break it down. That's one of our goals here, and that's why we say leave comments with questions. Any questions you have, let us know and we'll be able to answer them, because this is complex stuff, but the tools are being created where it makes it much easier to use now compared to years in the past.
Yeah, it's definitely getting easier, and there's so many new tools coming out because, as time goes on, it's getting it's simpler, and on top of that, there's been people that are coming out to actually explain it better. I'm
all set. I'll take a check too. Thank you so much.
So there's so many people out there that are actually, they're doing what you and I are doing. We're conversating about, what blockchain, what crypto is, how it works, and I think people start understanding it. If not now, sooner than later, because I'm telling you, I think people are not realizing that you're gonna be forced to use crypto. It might not be Bitcoin if you don't want it. It might not be Monero, but you're gonna use the federal government's cryptocurrency. It's not gonna be the same thing as a dollar. It's not gonna be the same thing as a debit card. It's gonna be a cryptocurrency, and it just behooves anybody to learn this before it's rammed down your throat.
You still have an opportunity to front run the banks. Don't miss out on that opportunity. It's one of the only times in history we as average people have had a chance to achieve the same amount of investment and returns that they would have, and that's going to be a big thing. So keep following us. You can subscribe. LearnMonero.com. You can subscribe to the Nonconformist at thenonconformist.io. We'll be pumping out content. We'll be teaching y'all how to enjoy this wave and ride this wave with us. The rocket boosters are on the rocket, Mike. The thrusters, they haven't really even started yet, right? Let's see if we meet.
Switching the buttons.
Let's see if we meet that $20,000 Bitcoin mark by December. But the thrusters are starting to boost. Don't miss that rocket ship with us. Subscribe to us. You don't want to miss it. And don't buy that shit coin. Don't buy that shit coin. Don't be the dodo. Don't be the dodo.
There you go.
All right, brother.
Awesome.
I think that's gonna be it for today.
Sounds good to me. Hey guys, subscribe.
All right, guys. We'll talk soon. Peace, y'all.